Previously on Fumblelore, what do you remember from last time?
We're gonna die.
Isn't that like every episode?
We're gonna get caught and then maybe die.
Okay.
Well, we've already gotten caught.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been caught. Because we forgot to put the headpiece back on Gabriel. We have magic.
You have
Yes,
magic.
I have Rain of Blades.
So you
don't
have
wanna kill
unlocked
anyone.
the ability to do magic. Although we'll see how that all turns out. What else happened? What else do you remember from the last episode?
We found the Maiden's well.
You found the Maiden's well. What happened at the Maiden's well?
I threw a paper in the well with the Maiden's name on it, and it exploded. We all have powers, and we found a rock.
And you found a rock.
Yes. I got lightning powers.
One thing that we need to do is both of you have leveled up. When you unlocked your abilities and got the stone from the Maiden's Well, you leveled up to level 2. In Daggerheart, leveling up comes with a few perks. You went from a tier 1 to a tier 2, so there are a couple things that unlock for you. Tier 2 is levels 2 through 4. So now that the both of you are level 2, you get to choose 2 of these perks. Are you ready for the list?
Oh, okay.
So you can either gain a +1 bonus to 2 unmarked character traits, or you can permanently gain 1 hit point, or you can permanently gain 1 stress slot, or you can permanently gain a +1 bonus to 2 of your experiences, or you can choose an additional domain card for your level or lower level from your domain, or you can permanently gain a +1 bonus to your evasion.
I'm choosing another domain. Please and thank you.
Now that you're level 2, at level 2, you gain an additional experience. So we need to come up with an additional experience for both Haun and Maven.
Oh, I know what my one would be.
What would your other one be?
Intelligent mind.
Okay, so anytime you need to be smart about something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you'll totally need that. Climb and retrieve. So that'd be agility.
Climb and retrieve. Can you explain a little bit? Since these are experiences based on kind of like storytelling. Like Tinkerer, you have a story behind that. Smarty Pants, you have...
It's speed reader.
Oh, speed reader. Yeah.
Climb and retrieve. So climbing shelves or scaling walls to retrieve something like a ball off the roof or
Okay, is there an
books
experience
off a
from Maven,
bookshelf?
books for climbing up books?
Maven had 5 brothers, so she was the smallest and had to retrieve balls off the roof quite often.
And you gain a +1 bonus to your proficiency. So whatever your proficiency is, you get another +1 bonus. Now, from that list, what are the 2 things that you want to choose?
I'm gonna add another evasion, and I want another domain card.
One thing that you can do with these domain cards is you can switch out a domain card you currently have for another one if you want to. Evelyn, here are your domain cards to choose from. You can look through those.
Wait, that's cool. Okay, final words. You can infuse a corpse with a moment of life to speak with it. Make a spellcast roll. On a success with hope, the corpse's answers up to 3 questions.
Does this count as a question? Yes.
On a success with...
Oh my gosh,
This is
the D&D movie.
I know.
Does this count as a question? Yes.
Do I ask him the questions?
Yes. Do all these count as questions? Yes.
Yes. One thing about leveling up is when it comes to your domain cards, you now have what's called a vault. Now you can take the domain cards that you've previously used, if you switched them out, and put them in your quote-unquote vault, so that anytime you take a rest, you can switch out cards from your vault into your hand. So one thing to remember when it comes to your domain cards is think about where we are and what's going on and what kind of traits or abilities or spells do you think would be best for what you think may be coming up. So Ethan, what are your 2 options you want to do?
I want to choose additional domain card and then figure out what I want to do next.
Okay, so these are your domain cards to choose from. And then the last thing that both of you need to do is add a +1 to your damage thresholds.
Ooh.
Add another point to my evasion.
Perfect. Both of you have picked all of your perks for leveling up, and the both of you are now level 2. The question for this episode, I don't want to do one of the cards. I want to do one of my own because I am curious. The both of you, both Maven and Haun, do you have families? And if so, where are they? Because the both of you are now on this other island, separated from your home and presumably from any family or family members that you may have. So do the both of you have families? And if they do, and if you do, where are they?
I think Haun would have like an older brother,
Yeah.
but he probably wouldn't know where he is.
No?
No.
He was a street urchin, so
I know, but
they probably get
We
separated
established
a lot.
in a previous episode that Haun knew his parents.
Yeah.
Because you asked him if he knew his parents. He said yes. Haun, are your parents alive?
No.
No. Okay. So your parents aren't alive, and you have an older brother that you don't know where he is.
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Maven, what about you? Do you have family? You just said you have five brothers.
Maven's the youngest. But like her brothers are like 3 to 10 years older than her. So
Okay.
yeah, they're a lot older than her.
Are your parents alive?
Her and her brothers would have grown up with like family members like her aunt and uncle or other relatives. So they've grown up in a couple different households with other family members because after Maven, like parents decided I don't know. I don't know. Don't know where the parents went, I guess.
Okay, so they're alive, but you just don't know where they are? Mm-hmm. And then your brothers, do you know where they are?
Well, the oldest is like an adult, so I would assume he works. Where would he work? Work in like a bakery. The oldest would work in a bakery.
Okay.
The others are either in school or finding work across the island.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's mostly by herself now, but like she still sends letters to her brothers and whatnot. So
Perfect. That's good character development.
yeah.
You make your way down the alley out of the old district and further away from the Maiden's Well. Each step that you take down these alleyways, you can hear the sloshing of the water in your shoes as all of you are soaking wet. As you get closer and closer to the courtyard, you hear the sound of festivities, this time much louder, the music much louder. As you make your way closer and closer to it, the light and the sights and the smells all of a sudden wash over you as you exit the alley and into the courtyard. And the moment you do, you hear someone scream, "Human!" Realizing that you both forgot to grab Gabriel's disguise from the well, both of you look down at Gabriel. Like the two of you, he is soaking wet. His hair is matted against his head. His mismatched, drenched clothing is hanging off of his body because it is way too big for him, making his arms and his legs look weird and disfigured. He is also white as chalk. His eyes are unfocused and he's moving, but he's only moving because Maven, you're pulling him. And so his steps are uneven. And I need both of you to make a knowledge roll. You need to beat an 18.
Oh no! I failed. So bad.
Okay, what did you get?
I got a 17 with hope.
17 with hope.
I was 1 away. Everyone, please spend a hope.
Fine. As a 6. But I got a 10 with fear.
Maven, you look at Gabriel and you pull at him and tug at him further into the courtyard. And you can see that his eyes, they've rolled back into his head.
Oh no,
and
he's
he
being
is
possessed.
Moaning incoherently. Haun, you look at Gabriel, and in that moment, all of these memories come flooding back of all the times growing up with him and being teased by him and taunted for what you believed in, and him always thinking that he was right and you were wrong. And even though that you believed that magic was real and that the history of your island was different than what his father espoused, you were teased and mocked for it. And you realize in this moment that this new reality has overtaken Gabriel and he can't deal with it. Everything that he believed and everything that he teased you
So
and
it's a
mocked you
trauma
for,
response.
yes, has been stripped away. And my question is, how do you feel about him in this moment?
What? I want to say angry.
Angry? Why are you angry?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Now he knows he's wrong and he can't deal with that. And so he just took a pass on life.
He's dead?
No, he's not dead.
Not like that.
No, he's just in shock. He's not dead. So you just feel angry. Angry specifically at Gabriel or at the situation? Like
Both.
where is your
Both.
anger? Both. Okay. That moment of anger that you have is short-lived because you hear
Human.
You look over and you see a halfling woman near the outer edge of the courtyard where the sound came from. You see her looking towards the three of you. When she yells, it's not quite a scream and it's not quite a word, but it ripples around her like a stone being dropped in the water, and people nearest to her start to take a step back. And further and further out, people start to look around, wondering where the source of all of this came from. Some people grab their children, others turn to look, not sure where to look at or what to look for. A group of nearby musicians that are near you stop, and for a moment, the festival courtyard holds its breath. And I need the both of you to make an instinct roll. You need to beat a 12.
We screwed up so bad. And okay,
that's a
that's
21
not
with
too
hope.
bad.
21 with hope.
14 with hope.
14 with hope. Okay, you both succeeded. That's great. You see what's about to happen. And before you can do anything to stop it, you see Gabriel's eyes go wide.
Oh no!
A shimmer moves across his skin. It starts at his fingertips and then it washes up towards
I can't
his
just
face.
drop him as that's happening.
You drop him?
I drop
you
him.
You drop him, and he stands there frozen in place as this shimmer moves up towards his face and down his body. He starts to take a step forward and then collapses onto the ground. A fairy woman that is near the three of you run over, and she grabs Gabriel's hand and she picks him up, and she looks at him and says,
Are you alright, love?
and he stands up, and as he stands up, the both of you see things coming off his head. The fairy woman looks at him again and she smiles, and
She's helping us, yay!
Gabriel looks up at her, and then he starts to stumble back in fear. And as he stumbles back in fear, he knocks into the both of you.
Oh, no.
And you turn and look at him, and what you see is something that isn't Gabriel. His face is that of an insect with mandibles and antennae. His arms are oddly shaped, and his hands bear the shape of these insect claws. How do you two react?
I just stand there.
You just stand there in confusion or just
what? Maven's just kind of stammering a bit. she's like, what? Huh?
So
What?
both of you
What?
just stand there? Okay. So you both stand there and you look at Gabriel, and to you, he looks like a
One of 'em.
stranger. To everyone else, he looks like a young fairy who looks like he's been through something terrible and is also inexplicably soaking wet. In that moment, Gabriel looks down at his hands, his fairy hands. He looks up at the both of you, and all of a sudden he turns and looks at his reflection in the window of a nearby building, and he screams in horror, and he runs, not away from the crowd, but into it. And he runs, and the crowd absorbs him, and then he's gone.
Dang it! It happened again. So who's that fairy lady?
She was just a festival goer that helped him to his feet.
I thought he was a human.
What?
I thought he was a human.
He just transformed into an insect.
Oh gosh.
Okay, from a metagame perspective, do you want to talk about this?
Yeah.
Gabriel, like you, Haun, is a sorcerer. He is a primal origin sorcerer instead of an elemental sorcerer, okay? And one of his abilities is disguise self. But since he doesn't have control, since all of you don't technically have control over your magical abilities yet, this kind of happened instinctually, and he disguised himself as a fairy to look like the person who just came and helped him up. The crowd is left looking at the space where they thought a human was standing just seconds ago, and now there's no human. It's just the both of you, looking very wet and slightly suspicious
And confused.
and confused. This mushroom and Samaya that are standing there drenched and confused and motionless. And then from somewhere in the back of the courtyard, you hear a sound, a drum, single, deliberate beat, and then another. An enormous sound that carries across the courtyard and bounces off the buildings and reverberates. Both of you make an instinct roll really quick. You need to beat a 14.
21 with fear.
21 with fear, so I get another fear.
First critical success of the game.
First critical,
Of course.
of the game,
Of the episode.
of the episode.
Of course.
Han, with a critical success, you look over towards this commotion near one of the buildings, and you can see this Filborg. Do you remember what a Filborg is?
No.
So a Filborg is like a cow, a humanoid cow creature.
Oh, Minotaur.
Well,
Basically.
kind of. Minotaur without like the legs, and so it's humanoid, but it has like cow-like characteristics. So like
Okay.
long ears and different face and things like that. You see this Filborg dressed in a long coat of deep green and gold and a large hat, and he is talking to somebody and scrambling. When all of a sudden he finishes the conversation, looks over at the two of you, and then turns towards the courtyard and says, "Ladies and gentlefolk of Ithrodel, you better beware, because in our midst truly is a human." And he motions towards the statue in the center of the courtyard. And the both of you look over, and you can see a goblin who has climbed up of the statue and is trying to desperately, quickly get on these stilts. You can see him dressed up very poorly in these clothes that are too big for it. Even though his skin is green, he has this pale colored makeup all over his face. He has these sharp teeth inserts in his mouth, and his goblin ears are pinned back and put under this wig that looks way too big for him. And this little goblin gets on his stilts and he starts to walk around the courtyard. And as he does, people part. Some move out of the way and scream. Some move out of the way and laugh. But wherever he goes, there is commotion around where this goblin dressed up as a human is going.
Okay.
This Filborg, he steps closer towards the two of you. He again talks to the crowd in the courtyard, and he says, "Welcome to the Courtyard Players Annual Festival performance of the history of Ithrodel. But before we begin, got to get rid of that human, don't we?" And you can see two other goblins who are both poorly dressed, trying to look like, one looks like a Filborg, another looks like an insect with all of these prop disguises and stuff, and huge nets start running around after this goblin on stilts that's dressed as a human. And as all of this commotion is happening in the courtyard, this Filborg straightens up and he comes over towards the both of you, still looking out into the courtyard. He stands up behind you and he says, "I had an entrance planned. It was going to be beautiful. The drums were going to build for 45 seconds. 45 seconds.
Oh.
And then Georgie," and he points over to the goblin who's on stilts, still running away from the other performers that are trying to catch him with these huge nets, "was going to come screaming out of the alley, and I was going to catch him dramatically, and the crowd was going to go, and they were going to cheer, and it was going to be beautiful." And he does the little chef's kiss. And he puts his arms around the both of you, but then immediately comes
Yeah,
up because
'cause
you're
we're wet.
soaking wet. And he's like, "But you've ruined that moment for me."
We're very, very, very sorry for that.
He pushes past the both of you and he turns back and makes a backward glance. Then he raises his voice back towards the crowd, towards the audience. As he does, make a presence roll, both of you. Need to be a 10.
Another roll?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a 17 with fear.
I get another fear. Ooh, I'm gonna fear to burn this episode.
I was one away.
Yeah.
That's a 23 with hope.
23 with hope. That is enough. Han, what do you do in this moment?
I don't know.
Do you do anything?
Should I?
Do you want to?
Is
I
there
just
anything that we should do to that you remind us of? Because you leave
I'd
out all
start-
these little hints and all
I
that.
start to slowly step back a little by little. Just
Okay.
shimmy back a bit.
Maven, without even thinking and without even realizing, you make a sound.
What?
What kind of sound do you make? Do you make a laugh, a squeak, a gasp? Like, what kind of sound comes out of you?
Okay,
You roll with fear, so you don't control that you make a sound, but what kind of sound do you make?
it's like a little squeak. It's like, I don't know. I can't make a little squeak, but it would be a little squeak.
It would be a little squeak? Okay, you make a little squeak, and then this Filborg presenter turns back and he says, "The Fun Girl must be enjoying herself. Wonderful! Audience participation is encouraged." And the crowd around you starts to laugh. Another little goblin comes up and hands this Filborg a staff, and he raises his staff in the air. And you can hear this sound of drums start to build louder and louder and louder. And all of a sudden, the two performers with the big nets catch the little green-skinned goblin disguised as a human on the stilts. The crowd around them starts to shriek and clap and applaud. And then they drag him onto a stage that has been constructed near the center of the courtyard by the fountain with the seraph on top. They drag him up and they put him in this little makeshift jail that is just strips of fabric, and they throw him in this little jail, and he starts to bite and make noises that for the two of you don't sound too similar to the moaning and groaning that Gabriel was doing moments before the two of you entered the courtyard. And they pretend to lock the door, and Georgie grabs these strips of fabric like they're bars and rattles them and screams. And the crowd cheers. And Svilborg steps up on stage and he says, "The human is caught. The island is safe." And he gestures towards the jail. "And now that we are all secure, let me tell you what we got here. A fantastic presentation of the history of the island of Ithrodel." And you can hear music start to play as all of a sudden, all of these performers start to scramble up on stage, moving props and moving different bits of scenery on and around. You can see two giants on either side of the stage hold up these huge fronds to give shadow and shade to the stage, kind of making a spotlight on the center of the stage, where all of a sudden this little goblin comes up and he says,
"Presenting His Excellency, the Master of Ceremonies for this evening, Broden."
And this Filbork, finely dressed in this long green and gold coat and bearing a hat that's probably way too tall for what he should be wearing, comes out on stage and he takes off the hat and he bows way lower than he probably should bow. And he says, "In the beginning, long before any of us took our first breath, there were the dragons." And you can see performers coming out with these paper craft and fabric dragons onto the stage, coming out and running around the stage as Broden continues. "They were not like the stories some tell of dragons, fire and ruin and terror. They were..." And he pauses for effect. "Old, patient. They had been here for so long that the island itself had learned to breathe with them, had learned to live with them. The soil remembered them. The water remembered them. The rocks remembered them. The air remembered them. And everything that grew here grew because of them."
While he's talking, I grab Hans's arms and start walking around the edge of the crowd to the library.
You want to walk towards the edge of the crowd?
Yeah,
Okay,
to like the library.
So
like I'm
do
still
we both
gonna
need
listen
to make
to
a
it.
roll?
All right, go ahead and make a knowledge roll, both of you.
Wait, knowledge?
Yep, knowledge.
Oh, dang.
15 with fear. Gosh dang it! I got another fear.
15 with
That's a
fear.
20 with hope.
15 with hope and 15 with fear?
No, 20.
20 with hope. Okay. Han, you notice that what Broden is describing seems to match what Aldrich told you when you were in the library. So for you, it's like a point of confirmation of what Aldrich said. Maven, since you rolled with fear, but you rolled high enough, you beat an 11, you come to that same realization. But as you're coming to this realization, you look up at Broden and he locks eyes with you and he points in your direction and he says, "And then people came." On the stage, you can see these performers coming out with these facades of wooden boats pretending to be on the sea. And they set them down on the edge of the space and they get off their little boats and start walking around the stage. And you can see various races all roaming around this stage as he continues. "They came on ships, followed the birds, followed the light." And his voice drops for a moment, but still loud enough for most people to hear. "Was paradise." "For a time, it was a good time. All the people lived here together. The dragons didn't drive them away. The dragons did not fear them. The island was generous. There was enough for all. And the performers start setting up these little scenes of markets and trading and sharing. And
We're still walking along the edge of the crowd, right? Yeah.
yeah, you're still walking
okay.
around the edge of the crowd. And the performers mime their scene, and it's warm, and everyone seems happy, and it all seems genuinely lovely. But then the tone seems to shift. All of a sudden, the musicians playing the music change it to something in a minor key. And then Broden says,
But there are always those who look at what is shared and ask, what if it were mine alone?
and you see new performers enter the stage. These ones all walking on stilts, wearing long clothes or robes, some of them with big pointy ears, others with cat-like ears on top, some with horns, some that again look like these weird-looking humans, some with elaborate headpieces and chains made of pointed wood. They all carry props that look like scales, or like they're weighing things or tipping things in their favor as they talk to other people on the stage.
Some of those who came to this island decided that the center of it, the great city, the place of trade and power, belonged to them. That the blessing of dragons was a blessing on them specifically. That the richness of this island was a richness that they had earned.
And you can see these tall costume performers start to push the other performers off the stage and off the back, looking threatening and menacing as they do so.
Or as they try.
And so those they thought lesser were pushed back. The goblins were pushed back. The dwarves were pushed back. Turtlefolk, Samai, halflings, all back to the edges, back to the margins, back to where they can be useful without being present.
And you see all of these tall performers take the center of the stage. And I need Haun to make an instinct roll. You have to beat an 18.
It's a 16 with hope.
Okay.
Please don't roll a 1.
That's a 5.
That's a 5? Okay.
And the humans.
And Broden pauses dramatically, and he looks over the crowd and points. And then all of a sudden, his eyesight lands on you, Haun.
Oh no.
And he looks at you for a second and blinks and then moves on to the rest of the crowd.
The humans
Yeah, he knows.
were at the center of it.
From behind the both of you, all of a sudden you feel a bump as a small goblin with a push cart comes up behind you. Maven, this goblin hands you a sign.
What does it say?
The sign says, "Keep out."
What is this for?
The goblin looks at you and says,
What's coming next? Of course.
Oh,
she looks at you expectantly, like you should be doing something. And the crowd nearest you, all of a sudden they turn and they look at you and watch.
Oh, what should I do? Okay, this is a game. Okay,
This is a game.
walk up.
Who's that coming
I'm sorry. Walk up to the stage and hold the sign up or hand it to the human-looking goblins, or the goblins disguised as a human's Guitari and Inferni and stuff.
You want to like show them the sign or like hand them the sign?
Show them it and then hand them it.
Show them and hand them.
Okay, you walk up to the
I
stage.
don't know what else I'm supposed to do. So.
You walk up to the stage, and as you do, the crowd parts as if they're anticipating what's supposed to happen next. And you hold up the sign. And the second you hold up the sign, Broden says,
Our Fumblelore friend has an important message.
Oh no.
and you hand it to the...
to the performers.
Okay, the performers look at you, and then they look at each other in confusion.
What am I not.
Without knowing what else to do, one of them steps forward. They're still thunk, thunk, clunking on the stage as this little goblin on stilts tries to reach down and grab the sign. In this moment, I'm going to make an agility roll for this goblin to see if it could... Oh, okay. Hey, I rolled high enough. I got a 16, so it's pretty good. This little goblin jumps off its stilts and it looks around kind of embarrassed, like this moment had been unplanned. It grabs the sign and gives you kind of a scowl and then scurries back up on its stilts and walks over to the other people at the center of the stage. The people around you start to laugh, more out of your own embarrassment for not having done what you should have done in that moment. Some of them look awkward. And Broden, with the grace of a professional performer, dramatically goes over and steals the sign and then holds it up for the crowds to see. And they all cheer and laugh as the rest of performers exit the stage.
And then someone had an idea.
The mood again changes, the music again changes as he says,
They had looked at the island, at its riches, at its impossible fertility, and they asked themselves, why? Why does this island bloom while others wither? Why does the water here run clean? Why do the trees here grow tall and the harvests never fail? And
I start making my way back through the crowd back to Haun.
Make me an agility roll to see whether or not the crowd complies with your movement or if they hinder you in some way.
14 with fear.
Since you got a fear, I'm going to say that the crowd is so engrossed in this performance that as you try to make your way back towards the edge of the square and back towards Haun, that they are not getting out of your way and you have to try to push your way around them.
The answer they found,
Broden continues up on the stage,
was the dragons.
And this giant, who was also a performer, begins to run around the stage with these big fabric wings, pretending to be a dragon. One by one, other performers come up on the stage and start to catch the dragon and pull it off stage. Another performer dressed as a dragon comes up on stage, and again, other performers come and capture the dragon and pulls it off stage.
They called it harvesting. They called it progress. They called it...
And again, he waits for a moment for a suspense, and in a slightly quieter voice, he says,
necessary. The magic of the island was not a gift to be received. It was a resource to be extracted. And so they extracted it.
And at this point, the stage is empty, except for Broden, as everyone else has exited.
And the island began to forget what it felt like to be alive. Until there was one dragon left, the last one that anyone knew of, the great Aldora.
A single performer, this fairy dressed elegantly, looking like this large, elegant dragon, slow moving, wearing a costume that suggested the enormity of the dragon without being literal. Dark fabric that moved back and forth on the stage.
He had watched. He had waited. He had hoped, perhaps, that people would stop, that they would look at what they had done and chosen differently.
And the performer playing the dragon takes center stage and then stops.
They did not.
The performer holds up these large wings that start to unfurl. This fairy starts to fly as it flaps these fabric wings and hovers above center stage.
What happened next? No one who survived fully understood. But what they saw was Aldora rising above the mountains of the island, above our great city, above Salmara, above the center. and he gathered it all. The island's energy, the island's light, the island's will.
While he's saying all of this, you can see performers on the back of the stage start to unfurl this large canvas that on it is drawn a map of the island.
And then he released it.
You can see the performer throws a cascade of gold and blue paper scraps into the air above the stage, and they start to fall slowly. And as they fall, the performers in the back take the canvas and it rips in half.
The island broke.
He waits as a gasp and moments of sadness start to sprinkle throughout the audience there in the courtyard, letting the moment breathe. And then Broden says,
After the breaking, after the shroud rose and the two halves of the island learned to be strangers, there were those that said, "We will not forget."
and you can see these new performers enter. Some of them dressed in plain clothes, but other dressed in these fine robes, their faces covered, and they're carrying books and scrolls and objects.
They called themselves the Keepers. They said the history of the island belonged to all who lived in it, that we hold it, we preserve it, we pass it down.
These performers start to trade books and items back and forth with each other as more of these performers come up on stage.
That we remember who we are.
And all of this happens until the stage is full of all of these performers. And Broden says,
And so we arrive here today, this festival, this courtyard, to celebrate. The bridge is gone. The humans did not come. Or if they did not stay.
both of you make an instinct roll. You need to be 15.
That's a 15 with hope.
15 with hope?
9.
Okay,
Oh, wait. I'm gonna spend it.
you're going to spend a hope. You
You
have
need
to
to
roll
roll
a 6.
That's a 1.
That's a 1. Okay. Maven, as you're struggling to push through the
Oh, no,
crowd
no, no, no,
and
no, no,
get
no,
to
no,
the
no.
back towards Haun, towards the edge of this
Please don't let my
performance,
mushroom cap come up. Please don't make it come off.
you roll with hope, but as you push through the crowds, you start to make a little bit of commotion. You get a sense that you're being watched, and you turn and you can see Broden looking at you. He says,
We are still here. We know who we are. We know where we came from.
he says, and he walks across to the other side of the stage, again in dramatic pausing fashion.
And we remember. And that we will remember
And he takes a long dramatic bow,
is everything.
and the crowd erupts in cheers. The performers bow on stage as you hear applause and roar from all around the courtyard. And as everyone is celebrating the end of this performance, you can see Broden get off the stage and walk in your direction.
Who's?
What do you want to do?
Who's?
Maven.
Look back at Han and motion him to come over.
I guess I
Come
go
on.
over.
Do you see her?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're gonna go over towards Maven?
Yeah.
All right, you walk over towards Maven. What do you want to do?
What does Broden want?
You want to wait and see what Broden wants?
I guess.
He walks towards you through the dispersing crowd, and you can see people move away from him, not out of fear, but almost out of respect, trying to give him room as he walks straight towards the both of you. He stops in front of you, and he looks at both of you for a long moment, and he says, "You're looking for something. Most people who come through the courtyard aren't looking for something. They're just living. But the both of you," and he looks at the both of you again, and he says, "You are looking."
I kind of want to walk away and see if Broden follows.
You want to walk away?
Wait.
Where do you want to walk towards?
I don't know. Like a little alley.
No, not an alley. We have to go back to the library. Okay, I get.
We are just visiting here. We are going to start going. Apologies if we disrupted your show.
He looks at you in all of your stammering, and he kind of narrows.
I wasn't stammering. I wasn't
He
stammering.
narrows his eyes as all of a sudden some of the crowd goers around you start to come up and talk to him. At first, he doesn't take his eyes off the both of you, but with people around him singing his praises and talking to them about how much they loved the show and the performance, he's all of a sudden wrapped up in this little group of fans that are around him.
Walk away. Just walk away.
Yeah,
wanna walk away?
Just walk away.
Where you want to go?
To the library.
Let's go through an alley to the back of the library.
You walk down this alley, walking further away from the commotion of the courtyard, down this alley that just a day before, 2 days before, no?
One day.
Yes, down this alley.
15 episodes. It's only been a day and a half. It's been a day and a half.
Yes, it has. So down this alley that just a day before, you had been trying to run away from the guard and find a place to hide, and you see the door to the library. You open the door to the back of this library that before was your escape, your refuge from what may have been whatever would have happened had the guard caught you the day before. And that familiar smell of books and paper and fire and warmth washes into you as you walk into this library. But the second that you do, you notice that something is wrong. Books are strewn about the floor, and it looks as if someone or something has ransacked the library. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Fumblelore. Fumblelore is me, Donovan is the GM, Evelyn is Maven, and Ethan as Haun. We are so excited putting these episodes out every week, and we really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, it would help us a great deal if you would share this episode or any of our other previous episodes with someone that you think might enjoy these family-friendly, cinematic, actual play podcasts that we put out every single week. There's more information on the show that you could find at fumblelore.com, or if you have any questions about the show, you can reach out at hello@fumblelore.com. We also have a Patreon with behind-the-scenes content and bonus material, and we want to get our Boon and Bane system developed soon so that we can have our audience make decisions that impact our characters on their journey. You can find information for that at fumblelore.com or head over to Patreon. New episode comes out next week, so be sure to come back for some more Fumblelore.